What is up, everyone? Michael Damon here with the latest episode of Starbeam.one, Stand Up and Shine and Shill. It's a series I put together to keep people up to date with my project, Starbeam.one, modeled after the agile methodology of a stand-up, where you tell your teammates what you're working on, what you're going to be working on, and any sort of friction points that you are encountering. And I've added so much more. Let's begin. All right, so program notes. This is kind of where we talk about the big news items of the show, if there's anything going on. And there's a couple things going on right now. First and foremost, we have a beta. We're finally in beta. We've been in alpha since last June when I launched the preview of the marketplace for my birthday. And since then, we've been in alpha, and it seems like the longest alpha ever. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, how long is an alpha supposed to be? Usually it's a couple months. And it was like over a year for our alpha here. Now, after some feedback from some members, we feel that it's in beta, maybe even more. We could probably release version 1, but I want 6 more months here to code some really kind of important features that I feel before I label it version 1. So we've got 3 betas. We've got 3 betas planned, and each beta is 2 months of effort. And so this is the first beta 1, and we are in that now as of today. So that's the big news here at the top of the show. And part of that is that we now have a shorter domain name, because it used to be alpha.starbeam.one, and now it's just starbeam.one. So it's kind of the same, but shorter. So alpha.starbeam.one links still work, and we'll probably sunset those at a later time. But for now, you can redirect and change and update your bookmarks to starbeam.one. All right, so from there, I think I talked about this. We have 3 betas, and the next beta is October 3rd, and this will be beta 2. And so now we are in beta 1, and I'm developing features for beta 2, and I'm really excited about this beta. This is kind of like the big beta. This is like the most important 2 months in my mind of Starbeam.one in its history, because of all the features that I want to put into place. It has to do with support and generating revenue, and so much more that we want to do with this in marketing. So support, marketing, and revenue. And so it's really important these next 2 months to get these features in place and have this ready by October 3rd, I believe it is. And that's also going to be the official 4-year anniversary of starting Starbeam.one October of 2019, which is so difficult to believe. So there's a lot of things going on here, and hopefully you can keep up with it, and it makes a little bit of sense. But October 3rd with beta 2 is kind of where my mind is at right now. And finally, there's a lot going on here. We have a 5-week month, so this show is on the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of every month. And then in months, like this one where we have 5 months, we take that. We don't do any other shows, so it's just going to be work and heads down for me, and getting some features developed, hopefully. And so just wanted to let everyone know that, and so that you are aware. All right, finally, let's get to the next slide here. Okay, dashboard. This is going to be a fun one because it's super duper slow right now. So kind of the thing to be aware of is that I'm not really focused on marketing right now. It's really all just beta 2, right? Like as I just mentioned, it's all October. And so the stats right now aren't going to be so impressive, although, it's typically like this. It's been typically like this for the past couple, I want to say months now, but we'll get into it here. So, okay, so how to get to the dashboard. Anyone can get to the dashboard. You don't even need to be signed in. You click this hamburger menu up in the top right. That'll expand the menu, and you scroll down to dashboard, and that will take you to this screen, and it gives you all the pertinent statistics of our system. And we're up to 270 users now, approaching 300, which is awesome. Over 100 artists and 126 collectors. And I'll just scroll down here to the bad news. It's a really slow sales day right now, but we do this for the sake of transparency. We're not trying to make us look bigger than what we really are. But the one thing that you'll notice here is that we are now over 8,000 total volume all time, which is amazing. And you can still see here over 7 days, we're still a little over 40 right now. So I think that's how it is. The math works out. So 350 is $50 a day. So right now we're just really not all that active. So, but that happens in business, and that's kind of one of the things you just have to learn to adjust to. Okay, so total sales over 5,000 here, and the average price for each sale, it continues to increase. Okay, moving on to our traffic, still holding around 9,000. We haven't broken that 10,000 yet, and one of the things I keep talking about with Beta 2 is the marketing. We're going to have that marketing push, and so that's kind of what I'm looking at. Everything's all focused here. As I said, these next 2 months are going to be very critical and important. Active user accounts, everything's just really low right now, and including like the user accounts that we have been creating have not been nearly as active as we have been, and it's just one of those things where I can either spend time marketing or spend time developing. And so it's going to be a little short-term pain here for long-term gain, hopefully knocking on wood there. And so, so the stats there are not all that pretty. We can scroll down here to even our licenses are, everything's just really low right now. Okay, so 12 licenses. We're usually kicking out 30 to 50 a day. And we're approaching 8,000 here, so that's kind of cool. And let's see, just scroll down here, unsold, kind of the same as last time, still approaching up. Still the same story. We need collectors. We had to have collectors to purchase all the art that we're producing, so that has not changed. And you think about it too, we only have almost 300 users total, right? And so, of that, just a fraction of them are active. So we really haven't even gotten to that phase where we have a ton of people using our system, right? And I feel it's going to be on the way. And again, Beta 2, that's kind of what we're looking at here. Okay, just moving right along here. I'm just going to scroll down to the good stuff here, and that is the withdrawals. We are approaching 200 withdrawals out to 51 people and approaching $4,000 that we paid out. That's kind of like the big statistic or metric here that I'm always excited about, and that's always a good positive sign. Okay, let's move on to the next slide here. Ooh, I feel like if I can do a song and dance through the really bad news, I can accomplish anything, right? That's just kind of the name of the game of being a business owner, right? You got to take the good and the bad, and you got to handle them both with the same level of confidence, for lack of a better word, but that's what I attempted to do. And it's sort of, for me, it's getting used to that, right? Because it really is not fun having slow sales day like this, especially when all of my time is spent to develop, right? And so I can either develop or I can do marketing, and that's kind of like my learning lesson. I can't do both. I need to have two of me, right? Or have a marketing manager that handles all that activity, and it's really a two-person job. And right now, where we're at, getting code and development done is more important than anything, right? Because, if I had a chance or opportunity or choice between development or marketing, what am I going to choose, right? We still need these features done, and so that's kind of where I'm putting all my time. And so, long story short here, what did I do is actually pay attention. Speaking of focusing, we were talking about focusing, right? What did I do? So, Announcement bot version 2. So this all started a few weeks ago with Twitter. Twitter started throwing exceptions and errors, and this is with their new API. They got a few more rules, and I had to go through and fix them. And then I was like, well, we do have this announcement bot story that we're wanting to do version 2 to have a lot more features, and it's really cool. I'm actually very close to deploying this. I got about a day's more work of effort to go through, and then testing it, and I should have this deployed tomorrow. But before, we were deploying for every issuance, sale, resale, and user listing on the resale market we were sending out announcements to Twitter and to our Discord. But now we've got a framework that's in place now, so that for every one of those major events, and we can add more if we want, let's see if I can remember them all from memory here. We do Twitter and Discord as we did before, but we're now doing Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And we are also doing Pinterest as well. And I feel like there's one more. Maybe that's the core of them. And I'll put the other ones in. There might be like one or two more. We have two that are, so those are the major ones, because we have two that are kind of like internal for starbeam.one. But we have this ability now, and then we're also looking at DeviantArt, maybe getting DeviantArt involved as well. But we have this ability now to have quick integration with these other integration points, social networking services that allow us to easily announce sales, resales, issuances, and resale listings to all these different social media for each and every one for free, right? Like, we're not charging for this. This is kind of like a value add as an artist and as a collector for using starbeam.one. The other thing that's not mentioned here really quickly is because because of this, I had to introduce privacy controls. So that was one of the things I started thinking about. I was like, well, you might be a user of Starbeam.one, but right now what we do is we tag you on Twitter. It's like, well, maybe, if you're on Twitter, you might like that, but maybe there might be someone who is just using, Twitter just to have another account on Starbeam.one and they don't want to be tagged. Well, that's a privacy control, and I implemented that. So that's going to be in there. We have a few other privacy controls as well. So I got that done as well. All right, so what am I doing now? I'm continuing on with the announcement bot. I should have that, as I mentioned, done tomorrow and deployed. And that's going to be a little bit tricky to test, right? Because there's all these different integration points. But it works on my machine so far, and things look really great there. So I'm pretty happy with how that's turning out. And also, I'm really happy with how I'm coding right now, and I'm really on fire right now, and not to jinx it, but yeah, it's been really great, and I feel really awesome, and I'm getting things done, and I'm feeling really in control of my code, which is very rare, right? And that's at the cost of art. I'm not doing any art, I'm doing development, but the announcement bot's a great example of just the amount of productivity, of what I am encountering right now, and that's great. So announcement bot, finished that out, and then finally it's these other tasks that have been hanging around, and these are all the tasks like, this has been hanging around this entire beta, but the enforce the email policy has been around this entire beta, or this past alpha, and now it's going to be for this beta. Hopefully I'm going to get this, and if the announcement bot is any indication, I should be able to do that. So hopefully that'll be in the next 2 weeks here. Friction points. Okay. Yeah. Hide the Pain Herald here has been quieter than usual, and it's actually been quiet all around. Last time I did talk about ReSharper, and thankfully they ReSharper always comes through. They are really good. They have these issues maybe from time to time, like what I was encountering last time, where they weren't replying to posts, but they were in the middle of pushing out a brand new version. Silly me. Of course, I feel really silly. And, it's really funny because I'm really good at nagging. I got this nag cannon, I call it, and I'm really good with it, but I'm finding it causes a lot of anxiety for things like this, right? Like, I can be really consistent with it, but it's still anxiety. It's like, why aren't they replying? And why am I, making myself so visible? I'm kind of just not used to making myself visible as much when I'm doing this nag cannon sort of thing. This is kind of the extent of making myself visible, these shows here. But anyways, we've got that taken care of. So thank you, ReSharper. Thank you, JetBrains, for getting back to me. That is crossed out there and the others. The only thing here, I felt this, I'm feeling a little wrong having 0 friction points, but we do have 1 friction point, and this is what we're down to. Everything's working really well except for the Razor tooling and build times, and so these are outstanding issues, and Microsoft knows about it, and it's the last time I've seen anything on these issues, and I'll put them in the description for this YouTube video. Last time that they have any updates are from like April, I think, so I'm going to start checking in just like I did with the ReSharper thing and see what's going on there, but that's the only thing. It's pretty good. Okay, moving right along, effectiveness levels. This is where I talk about my emotional qualities of different spectra of development for the project, to kind of let your teammates know how you're feeling about things. We talk about your feelings, and if the world talked about their feelings more, it would be a better world, in my opinion. And that's kind of what we're getting to here. And so starting out here with overall morale, it's actually a little higher, but I'm going to keep it down at 8.5. Just overall, I'm feeling really good. Again, kind of getting that mindset, that frame of beta 2 on October 3rd. This is all my focus, and I'm feeling really good about my coding right now. It's one of those things where it's sort of like confidence, right? It's difficult to gain and easy to lose, so it's kind of one of those things you want to, keep it as much as possible sort of thing. And so I'm feeling really good overall at 8.5 with morale. Schedule, this might be a little higher. I'm getting all these tasks done, especially the announcement bot. There's so many things to get done. Every day I was just adding a new integration point, and that's like, you think about that, and the more I thought about this, I'm like, I should have done this sooner, because each and every integration point, like Pinterest or Facebook or Instagram, well, that's kind of like having an employee. It's sort of like having an employee there, an automated employee, but an employee nonetheless that helps you out there, that's getting our content out there and producing awareness for us, and it is automated, but still kind of like an employee, right? So I was getting really good with that. So this is actually, it's at a 7. It might be a little higher, but I'm just kind of cautious more than not with the schedule. We'll see how this how this fleshes out going forward. Technology, yes. So everything's working really well now. The only outstanding issue was ReSharper, and that's been addressed. So it might be a little higher, but there's still some performance issues, and that's kind of what I discussed there during the friction points, and we'll see how that turns out. Marketing still continues to be a challenge. Again, I'm not really spending all that much time on it at present. I'm just focused on development and code for these next 2 months, so we'll see how this progresses as well. Support, that's a 8.5. Not a lot of support tickets right now, and things are working really well. Okay, I thought I was going to talk up a storm there, and it's going to be a 20-minute session, but it looks like it's going to be more like 16-ish. I just want to thank everyone out there for all your support, all your participation, and all of your purchases and everything with the community. It's just been awesome. It's been great. And until next time, stay safe out there and stay bright. Goodbye.